everybody. Today we are going to start to talk about transformations. And in particular, today's lesson is going to focus on a specific one that is called a translation. So just so you know, a transformation is a change in the size, location, or orientation of a figure. So we're going to talk about translations, dilations, reflections, rotations. Those are all specific types of transformations. But today, like I said, we're going to focus on a translation. A translation is a transformation which slides each point of a figure the same distance and in the same direction. So it's basically moving it over the x-axis and y-axis a certain amount. So it says the resulting figure after a transformation is called the image of the original figure. Another thing I want to make note is this. So if you look right here, it says a translation's in the coordinate plane. In the example below, notice how each vertex moves the same distance in the same direction. Here is my original image. This is called the pre-image. Over here, we have the image. And to denote this is the one after the translation, you see these little marks here beside are letters. They denote that as a prime. So I would call this A prime, B prime, C prime. So anytime you have this little prime symbol, that means that this is the object after the translation. And as you can see, to move from A to A prime, we slid this object over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. And to write the rule for that, remember ordered pairs are x, y. So if we slid it to the right 6, when you move to the right, it's on the x-axis, and when you move to the right, you're increasing. So I would say x plus 6, y. I leave y the same because I did not move my image up or down at all. I just moved it to the right. When I move to the right, I'm increasing on my x-axis. That's why I increased by 6. So for example 1, it says triangle ABC is translated 1 unit right and 4 units up. Draw the image triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I start at one of my dots. It does not matter. So if I start at B, I need to move it 1 unit right, and then I need to move it 4 units up. So if I move B 1 unit to the right, 4 units up, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to put a dot right there and label that B prime. I'm going to do this for every single point. So for A, I'm moving it move it to the right 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4. I would have my dot here for A prime. For C, I'm doing the same thing, move to the right 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to place a dot right there and label that C prime. So here's what my image would look like after my translation. It is also asking me to write the coordinates of my new image. So A prime, my order pair would be 2, 1. B prime, 4, 4. C prime would be 5, 2. If you don't understand how I'm getting my ordered pairs, please ask your teacher, because this is a past concept you should already know how to do. Then it says I need to write a rule. So a general rule, this translation could be written as, remember the x-axis, I moved to the right 1 unit. So I moved to the right 1. And I moved it up 4. So anytime I move to the right 1, when I move to the right, I'm adding 1, and I went up 4. So since I went up, that is also adding 4. So that is my rule for the first one. If we take a look here, I'm going to do the first two with you. So it says identify the location of point P under this translation. So here's my point P. I need to move it 3 units to the right and 4 units up. So I'm moving it right 3, up 4. So that's exactly what I'm going to do from point P. Right 3, up 4, and right there's where my dot should be. And I'm going to label that P prime. So my ordered pair of P prime, would be -1, 3. I'm going to do another one with you. So here's my next translation, x minus 2, y minus 5. So minus 2 means I'm going to the left 2. Minus 5 means you're going down 5. So from my original point P, I'm going to move left 2, down 5. And we should put a dot right there. And I'm just going to label this P double prime to denote another notation. So my ordered pair of this would be -6, -6. I want you to do the last 3, pause the video, and when you're ready to check your answer, press play. So here's what your answer should look like. We should have -7, 2, 2, -7, -5, -3. When you check your work on my grid, as you can see, I put those other dots. So here's the green, the blue, and the purple. If you are still not understanding how I'm doing this, please ask your teacher at this time. If you understand it, you can move on to the next page. Alright, so just to recap a few things, here's my coordinate grid, here's my x-axis and my y-axis. Remember, here's my origin. When I move to the right on my origin, my x values are increasing. That's why anytime we're doing a translation, when we move to the right, we add.
You talking to yourself?
Vice versa, when we move to the left on your x-axis, my numbers get smaller. Therefore, we are subtracting. So when we move to the left, we subtract. If we are on the y-axis and we are moving up, remember our numbers are getting larger, therefore we would be adding anytime we move up. Vice versa, when we move down on our y-axis, we would be subtracting because our numbers are getting smaller. So that's just a general rule for you all to think about and follow. So if we move on to the next example, well, they want us to fill in this statement. So it says, this figure slides 7 units to the left and 3 units down, because here's my original image, my pre-image. So if I move 7 units to the left and 3 units down, I'm going to get to my A prime. So remember, since it said we are sliding it 7 units to the left, we are decreasing by 7 or subtracting by 7. Since we are going 3 units down, we're decreasing or subtracting by 3. Your next step, we are going to list our vertices of our A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime, which if we take a look up here, A prime is right here. The vertice would be -5, 1. B prime is here. Our vertice would be -3, 1. C prime is right here at, right there at -2, 1, or -2, -1. D prime is right there, which is at -5, -2. The only thing left you must do is make your rule. So remember, if our original order pairs were x, y, to do my translation, since I'm decreasing by 7, left I would have x minus 7, and since I'm going 3 units down, that's my y-axis, since I'm going down, it is -3. All right, moving on to the next page, we're going to try to do a few more together, and then I'm going to have you practice a few. So right now, for example 3, I actually want you to try this one on your own. Remember, this is my original image, so that's my pre-image, and I need to get to my image that deals with the primes because of the little tick marks, as you can see right here. So I want you to write my rule. How did I translate it? So whenever you're ready to check your work, you can press play again. So in order to get from my pre-image, which is here, to my image, pick any ordered pair. So I'm going to pick letter M. I went to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why it's x plus 6. And then I went up 2. That's why it's y plus 2. For example 4, I want you to try to do A through E on your own. Press pause, and when you're ready to check your answers, you can press play. Okay, so the first thing I did was plot my points T, U, and V, and I labeled them. I connected them to form my triangle. I then translated following this rule, which tells you to go left 3 and down 1. I drew my new image, and then I listed my coordinates. If you have a question with anything of the above, please ask your teacher now. Then for part F, we are going to now use this figure, and we are going to follow this rule to do our new translation. And we have to state our new coordinates with the double prime. So right now, I want you to follow this rule. I'm going to change my color. And so remember, we are moving x plus 3, y minus 3. So if I move x plus 3, I am going to the right 3. And y minus 3, I'm going down 3. So from my t prime, I'm going to the right 3 and then down 3. And this would be one ordered pair for t double prime, which is at the ordered pair 0, negative 1. U double prime, remember I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to go right 3 and down 3. And right there, it's hard to do it on this grid, would be U double prime, which is at the ordered pair 2, 0. And lastly, for V double prime, I start at V, I go right 3 and down 3. That would be right there, which would be at the ordered pair 5, comma, negative 5. If I connect my dots, I would then get something that looks like this. So as you can see, all I did was translate. When you think of translation, think about sliding. Slide to the right, slide to the left, and so forth. Right now, I'm going to have you practice 1, 2, 3, 4 on this page. When you're ready to check your answers, please, I can't talk today, please press play and we will proceed. So pause the video and do this page for me. Okay, just a few things. So it tells me I'm moving right 5, up 1. That's why I did x plus 5 for the right 5 and y plus 1 for up 1. I then graphed my image and I labeled my new coordinates. I told the new coordinates of my new figure. For number 2, left 3 would mean x minus 3, down 2 is y minus 2. I graphed and labeled my new shape, and I listed my coordinates of my image. If you are not understanding this, please ask your teacher at this time. Also, just so you know, it's kind of hard to draw and dot on these grids, so I hope you're understanding where I'm coming from. And lastly, from my pre-image to my image, I'm moving right 4, up 1. That's why it's x plus 4, y plus 1. Over here, I'm moving left 4. That's why it's x minus 4. I'm not moving up or down at all on my y, so that's why y stays exactly the same. And lastly, if you look at question 5, write a description of this rule. Well, if I'm doing x minus 7, That means I'm going to the left 7. Y plus 4 means I'm going up 4. The only one that would work for this would be letter D. I hope you've understood so far what I've been talking to you about. Please remember that your pre-image is your original image. Your image is the one that denotes the translation. And the one that denotes the translation after the translation always has those little prime marks. So, for example, P prime would be after the translation. Your homework and what you're going to work on right now would be questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this page. Basically, you are just going to graph the image following the translations listed. You are also going to do the same thing on your next page for 5 and 6. You're going to graph it. For question 7, 8, 9, and 10, you are going to write the rule. Now please be careful because it's kind of hard to see which is the image and which is the pre-image. So I'm going to kind of circle for you so you know. This right here is my original image. So I'm going to always circle my original images or highlight them for you. This one here is my original image. For the one down here, this is my original image. Number 10, remember it's always the one without the primes that is my original image. So you're just going to write the rule. On the next page, the same thing for 11 and 12. So here's my original image if you can't see those tick marks. Same thing here. Here is my original image. For question 1 and 2, you are just going to graph those following the translations that are given. For 3 and 4 on this page, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to graph them following the translation. I am not going to make you do 5 or 6 on that page. And then you are going to, whoops, I didn't mean to circle that. You are going to find the new coordinates for 7 through 10. And it might help you to write the rule first and then find the new coordinates. And then for 11 through 14, all you have to do is write the rule. So is it x minus 6, y plus 5? I don't know, you tell me. So I hope this helped you understand translations a bit more. As always, ask your teacher for help. And we will go over this Monday. So this is your homework for the weekend. Have a wonderful day.